Hello and welcome back again to Arsenal Stage News, your home of Gunners updates and latest transfer saga, where Arsenal are closing in on their final piece of business on deadline day of transfer news. Arsenal are set for a busy conclusion to the summer transfer window, with Bayer Leverkusen defender Piero Hincapie in London finalizing his move to the Emirates. According to reports, the deal is worth £45 million in total, structured as an initial loan with a buy option that can be triggered next summer. The 23-year-old Ecuador international is expected to be the club's only deadline day arrival, though his signing would represent Arsenal's 8th edition of the summer. Hincapie is regarded as one of the Bundesliga's most promising young defenders and can operate both centrally and at left-back, giving Mikel Arteta valuable depth and versatility. Hincapie's arrival will set in motion the departure of Jakub Kiwior, who is already in Portugal ahead of a move to Porto. The Polish defender has completed medical checks and will join on loan in a deal valued at up to £23.4 million, including bonuses. Kiwior, signed only last year, has struggled for consistent minutes in North London and will now look to rebuild his form in the Portuguese top flight. In midfield, Albert Sambi Lokonga has completed his medical with Hamburg ahead of a permanent move. The Belgian has been unable to establish himself in Arsenal's first team and will now seek a fresh start in the Bundesliga. He may not be the only gunner heading to Hamburg, as Fabio Vieira is also in talks to join the German side on loan. The Portuguese playmaker arrived with high expectations in 2022, but has found opportunities limited, making a temporary exit likely. Reiss Nelson is another name who could leave before the 7 p.m. deadline. The winger is attracting interest from Fulham, with negotiations centered on a loan deal. While Nelson signed a new long-term contract last year, competition for places in Arsenal's attack has restricted his playing time, and a move across London would provide him the chance for more regular football. The most complex potential departure involves Oleksandr Zinchenko, who remains in talks with Marseille. However, the Ukrainian's salary is a stumbling block, making the move difficult to finalize. Despite his importance since joining from Manchester City, Zinchenko's future at the Emirates appears increasingly uncertain. With Hincapie incoming and several players poised to depart, Arsenal's deadline day business is expected to focus primarily on outgoings. By the 7 p.m. cutoff, the likes of Vieira, Zinchenko, Lokonga, and Nelson could all be on the move as Arteta reshapes his squad for the new season. Arsenal's Premier League clash with Liverpool at Anfield got off to the worst possible start for Mikel Arteta's side, as defensive leader William Saliba was forced off with injury after just 5 minutes. The French international, who has been a cornerstone of Arsenal's backline over the past 2 seasons, pulled up unexpectedly moments after heading the ball. Saliba sat down on the turf, glancing toward the bench to indicate that he could not continue. With no signs of limping beforehand, the incident shocked both players and fans, raising immediate concerns about the severity of the setback. Arteta was left with no choice but to call on new summer signing Christian Mosquera, who replaced Saliba for the remainder of the match. The young defender was thrust into a high-pressure situation far earlier than expected, having to cope with Liverpool's relentless attack on one of the Premier League's toughest stages. Former Aston Villa striker Dion Dublin, speaking on BBC Radio 5 Live, described the moment as particularly concerning. "I didn't see any limping from William Saliba. After heading the ball, Saliba went down. He kept his left leg straight and his right leg bent. That is a huge loss for Arsenal," Dublin explained, highlighting how crucial the Frenchman is to Arsenal's defensive structure. The timing could hardly be worse for the Gunners, who are already navigating a growing injury crisis. Star forward Bukayo Saka was absent from the squad after suffering a hamstring issue in last weekend's fixture, a problem that is set to keep him sidelined for up to 4 weeks. Midfielder Kai Havertz has also undergone knee surgery, ruling him out for the foreseeable future, while Captain Martin Odegaard only made the bench at Anfield following a shoulder problem. The mounting list of injuries is threatening to derail Arsenal's momentum at the start of what is expected to be another title-challenging campaign. With the transfer deadline looming on Monday night, the club is working quickly to finalize the signing of Ecuadorian defender Piero Hincapie from Bayer Leverkusen. His arrival could provide timely reinforcement to a squad stretched by fitness concerns. For Arteta, however, the immediate worry will be the condition of SALIBA. The 23-year-old's commanding presence has been essential in stabilizing Arsenal's defense, and losing him for an extended period would represent a significant blow to their ambitions. Supporters will be anxiously awaiting updates in the coming days as the Gunners look to recover from another damaging injury setback. Arsenal agree Piero Hincapie deal with Bayer Leverkusen star set for London move. Arsenal have reached an agreement to sign Bayer Leverkusen defender Piero Hincapie in a deal that will initially see the Ecuador international join the club on loan, with an option to buy for £45 million. Should the Gunners choose to activate that clause, Hincapie is set to pen a 5-year contract, with Leverkusen also inserting a 10% sell-on fee into the agreement. The 23-year-old, who has already earned 46 caps for Ecuador, is expected to travel to London this weekend to complete his medical ahead of the switch. Hincapie will add much-needed depth to Mikel Arteta's backline, which has been tested in recent years due to recurring injuries at crucial points of Arsenal's title challenges. Highly regarded for his versatility, Hincapie is predominantly a centre-back, but is also capable of slotting in at full-back. His flexibility fits Arteta's tactical demands perfectly, with the Spaniard often preferring defenders who can operate in multiple roles. Arsenal already boasts the likes of Ricardo Calafiori, Jurrien Timber, and Ben White, who have all been deployed in hybrid positions under Arteta, and Hincapie looks set to continue that trend. The move comes during another busy transfer window at the Emirates. Arsenal have already invested heavily this summer, with Martin Zubimendi, Noni Madueke, Victor Gyökeres, and Eberechi Eze all joining the squad in deals that have pushed the club's spending past £200 million. Bringing in Hincapie further highlights the club's ambition to compete on all fronts and finally secure the elusive Premier League crown. The signing also coincides with significant outgoings. Jakub Kiwior is set to complete a £23 million move to Porto, while Oleksandr Zinchenko is in talks with French club Marseille over a transfer. These departures underline Arsenal's reshaping of their defensive options, with Hincapie arriving as a long-term solution. Despite his young age, Hincapie brings a wealth of experience, having already racked up more than 150 appearances for Leverkusen. His composure on the ball, reading of the game, and ability to step out of defense are qualities that will strengthen Arsenal's backline as they look to cope with injuries and fixture congestion. With Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka nursing knocks and Kai Havertz recovering from knee surgery, squad depth has once again been a concern for Arteta in the opening weeks of the season. The capture of Hincapie provides a timely boost, giving Arsenal another reliable option as they prepare for what promises to be a grueling campaign both domestically and in Europe. Things are moving fast at Emirates. We start with this headline that Gabriel Martinelli faces uncertain Arsenal future amid fierce competition. Gabriel Martinelli's place at Arsenal is under fresh scrutiny following a summer of intense squad reshaping that has left the Brazilian winger facing a serious battle for minutes. Once considered one of Mikel Arteta's untouchable starters, Martinelli is now fighting for his role after 3 major moves altered the pecking order in Arsenal's forward line. The 23-year-old started 25 Premier League games last season, delivering his second most productive campaign in an Arsenal shirt. However, despite his contributions, Arteta has turned to the transfer market to inject more creativity and competition in the wide areas. The high-profile arrival of Eberechi Eze from Crystal Palace for £60 million has been the clearest indication that Martinelli is no longer guaranteed his left-wing berth. Eze, who dazzled in the Premier League last season, has quickly been earmarked as a key figure for Arteta's evolving system. With Bukayo Saka sidelined through injury, there's a strong chance that Noni Madueke, another summer arrival, will cover on the right flank. That in turn allows Eze to slot straight into Martinelli's favored left-wing role when Arsenal travel to Anfield this weekend. Meanwhile, Leandro Trossard, fresh from signing a new contract, remains another trusted option after impressing from the bench in the 5-0 win over Leeds. While Arsenal have scored 7 goals in their opening 2 league matches, 3 came from set pieces, highlighting an ongoing need to improve their attacking output in open play. Arteta's recruitment drive reflects a push to diversify sources of creativity and goal threat, a factor that has placed added pressure on Martinelli, who has been criticized for inconsistent form. Speculation over a possible move to Saudi Arabia has circulated throughout 2025, but Arsenal sources insist the winger remains firmly in their plans. There's no desire to cash in on a player with Martinelli's quality and potential. The real concern is how much he will actually feature. With Eze expected to be handed an immediate chance to shine, Martinelli could find his game time significantly reduced compared to the 2,200 minutes he registered last season. Ultimately, Arteta's team selection against Liverpool may provide the clearest indication yet of where Martinelli stands. Should he once again be overlooked in favor of Arsenal's new recruits, it will speak volumes about the challenges ahead for a player who only 12 months ago was one of the first names on the team sheet. With the transfer window nearing its conclusion, the Gunners are still active on multiple fronts. Crystal Palace are reportedly in advanced talks with Arsenal over a potential £15 million deal for winger Reiss Nelson. The academy graduate, who has struggled to cement a regular place in Mikel Arteta's plans, could be set for a fresh start at Selhurst Park. Palace see Nelson as an ideal addition to strengthen their attacking options, and a move would also allow Arsenal to free up squad space and generate funds for potential reinforcements. Meanwhile, Jakub Kiwior is edging closer to a move away from the Emirates. The Polish defender, signed from Spezia in 2023, has found opportunities limited in North London. Porto are understood to be close to finalizing a loan deal with an obligation to buy, a move that would see Kiwior get the regular game time he needs while Arsenal focus on other defensive options. Away from the transfer market, Arsenal confirmed a major update regarding Kai Havertz. The German midfielder, who picked up a knee injury during the club's Premier League opener against Manchester United, has successfully undergone surgery. While the exact timeline for his return has not been disclosed, the club described the procedure as a success, offering optimism that Havertz could return sooner rather than later. His absence, however, remains a setback for Arteta, who had planned to integrate the versatile attacker into his tactical setup this season. On the European front, attention has also turned to Arsenal's Champions League campaign. Following UEFA's revamped format, the Gunners' fixtures in the group stage have now been revealed. Fans are eagerly anticipating a fresh challenge as the North London side prepare to test themselves against Europe's elite. With Arteta's side aiming to build on last season's strong domestic performances, a positive start in Europe will be crucial. In summary, Arsenal's situation is one of both change and opportunity. The departures of Nelson and Kiwior, combined with Havertz's injury setback, could alter Arteta's short-term plans, but the squad remains competitive. With Champions League nights on the horizon and transfer business still unfolding, the coming weeks will play a significant role in shaping Arsenal's 2025/26 campaign.